welcome
Yeah.
to Ask Glenn, everyone. Today I have Ambush with me, and Ambush is going to take it away and share his story, and then we're just going to have a natural conversation like we always do. And so, welcome, Ambush.
Thank you, Win. How are you doing? I'm really
Good.
happy to be on your show.
Well, it's an honor to have you. And Ambush, could you please explain to my fan base more about what you do?
Yeah, sure, Win. So I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a first generation entrepreneur and a book author. And I'm also into podcasting. Been podcasting for the last few months, and I've almost like 40 podcasts now up and running, and they are being viewed by a lot of people. And hopefully, they'll be viewed by more people and building a good community with people like you around. So yes, I'm running a digital marketing agency by the name of Social Buzz, and I tend to blog a lot. I have a book on bed and breakfast accommodations in India. So yeah, that is being received very well in the academic circles of India. So yeah, that's what I do. Vin.
So, okay, what is your favorite part of all that you do?
The favorite activity, I guess you're asking me.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So the favorite activity would be because I'm from the advertising background. So I love to analyze advertising campaigns, how they are built, the brief that goes into it, the thought process. So yes, I love doing that.
Well, advertising.
Yeah.
Advertising. Oh my goodness. Advertising is not I should be better at it, you guys, but I'm not. I'm not. Let's just admit it. I love hosting, I love sharing my story, but advertising, not so much. And so, Ambush, if you
Yeah.
had a favorite book, what would it be?
Okay, yeah, Vin, that's a nice question. I don't have a favorite book as such. I don't read too much, but yes, I have a favorite genre, and I love to read about leadership, management, something what Harvard Business Review would release. Some sort of small case studies, or they would dwell into a topic, and they would talk about multiple views of that same topic. So I'm not somebody who would read a book, but yes, I would read some opinions, some management pieces, somewhere where I can, grow as a person, as a professional. So that's what I like to read.
So you more into the um, management
Yeah,
news articles than you want to the management books.
yeah, perfect.
I got it. I got it because um, that's the first time I had someone say that to me. I'm really not into books. I
Mhm.
normally people spat out their favorite book, but you guys, it could be a news piece too. It could be a
Yeah,
news piece subject that you really like to deep dive.
yeah, perfect. You got me right.
So, if your best friend had to write a news piece about you, what would it
Uh-huh.
be called?
I love your questions, Win. I think you really make me think a lot. And these are wonderful questions, actually. These questions make you think a lot about yourself as a person and then answer. So coming back to your question, if my friend was supposed to write something about me, the topic would be, um, I like to keep things very flexible between my colleagues and my friends, and I like to treat my colleagues as family. So yes, probably it could be titled "The Courteous Commander." Somebody who's your commanding light, but is friendly with you and is helpful to you and resourceful for you and out there for you always. So yeah, courteous commander would be one thing. Yeah.
I love it. Good days, Commander. I love it because
Uh-huh.
um, when you're building a business or
Yeah.
when you're not stuck into that golden chains of 9 to 5, which that's fine for some people, but for
Yeah.
me, yeesh, for me, I never got stuck back into a 9 to 5 job if I don't have to. Gee,
Mhm.
beast. No, I want the other direction. Unless unless I really, really, really have to, I will get
Yeah.
a job in a W-2 job in journalism, but that's, I will get a W-2 job in the creative arts, like graphic
Yeah.
design or journalism, but I will not get a W-2 job in education. Eesh. That is, I did that. I did that for 13 years. No, thank you, Mr. Education. No, thank you. And so if I really, really have to get a W-2 job, it will have to be something in the arts. It will have to
Mhm.
be book authors, a big publishing house. It would have to be something that creatively fills my soul.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
Because education, not so much. But yeah. So, Ambush, what is your morning routine?
So when usually I tend to work a lot during the day. I have my own agency and I have a lot of commitments, a lot of virtual meetings nowadays. So yes, my day starts a little bit late as compared to other people of my entrepreneurial background. So my day starts around 9 o'clock, and I start working the moment I wake up, and I plan my daily routine during the meetings and all. So I shuffle between them, and by the time I'm in office, it's like almost 11:30. So I'm in office in that time, and after that, it's I don't know what happens after that, because straight away I'm like back in my conscious state around 6 o'clock in the evening, and there's
Yeah,
sometimes even later than that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, what made you decide to go into marketing?
Oh, sorry.
What made you decide to go into marketing? Was this
Okay.
I grew up with this passion, or did you fall into it, or was it a little kid passion, or did you just fall into it?
So, Win, for that, for answering that question, I like to go a bit in the past. So, I am a B Tech. I'm an engineer, computer engineer by profession. Yeah, and I was not doing so well. So, I followed that stream of studies based on people who were around me. So, it was sort of a herd mentality, right? Doing what other people are doing, but I was not good at it. And my friends, they realized that I have a good eye towards advertisements. I can understand advertisements better. I can look at advertisements and understand what insight they've been built on and things like that. So they told me that maybe you should go for marketing and advertising and brand management. So I started working towards that, gave a lot of GMAT exams, and that's how I fell in love with the field after exploring it a little bit. And I did my MBA in brand management. So yeah, so that is how I came into marketing, advertising, brand management, and right now, when I must tell you that I'm really enjoying it, and I'm running my own agency, and it's very very satisfying for me. Though it's a bit, it's a bit hard work, it's a bit of slog, but I think I'm doing, I'm happy.
Well, they say if you have a job you absolutely love, it doesn't seem like
Yeah.
the slog. Whereas I was in education, you guys, for 13 years, and
Uh-huh.
I got burnt out of education, and
Okay.
thank God that COVID decided to kick me out the door because I was like, I want to leave, I want to leave, I want to leave. And my plan was,
Yeah.
I had a plan to leave in May, but
Hmm.
COVID decided to kick me out the door later than that. But when I look back on it, my degree in education, which I'm now
Yeah.
getting a degree in my passion, which is journalism, which, yes, I'll get paid for my passion. And so when they say, if you have a job that you absolutely love and it doesn't seem like a job to you,
Yeah.
that's much better. And I agree with whoever said that because it's much better than slogging away at a computer engineering degree and then instead of saying I'm not good at this and let's just pivot while you're young and then fall in love with a career that you can do on your deathbed.
Hmm. That's great. That's great. That's true.
And so, Ambush, do you have any questions for me?
Sure, sure. When I was waiting for this moment to come, and I would ask you some questions
Yeah.
because you look like very learned and very very good at what you do, and I can see the background, and I think that you are living in a beautiful home. So congratulations for all of that. First of all, next I would like to ask you that when this is amazing what you're doing, and I think you are exploring people and making them think a bit deeper into their own lives, which you might not get time on a daily basis. So the questions that you ask are amazing. And there's one thing I want to ask you is that what prompted you to go for this format of conversations, which is podcast? And is there something that you really understand about people's psychology through it, or like what is your purpose?
Well, the reason why I started this podcast, Ask When, and I have 3 podcasts. One of them is the amazing voices of teachers, all about the education field. Yikes, that's a little scary when you think about that. But, and the other one is the artwork of CP, all about cerebral palsy and the education aspects of cerebral palsy. But the reason why I started Ask When is because I wrote a book myself. That book
Hmm.
happens to be 10 years old now. I Come a Win. It could be found on Amazon all over the place. It's actually
Okay.
available in India. And even though it's English, English speaking book, it's actually available in India. And so the reason why I wrote the book is because I lost my mom in 2010, and then I published a book based upon
Hmm.
my life with cerebral palsy and how I was raised, and then I literally hit the publish button on that book on Amazon, and I said,
Yeah.
"Wait, now I'm a published author.
Yeah.
How world am I going to market the dang thing? How in the
Yeah.
world am I going to market the dang thing?" So I tried YouTube.
Hmm.
That was a disaster and a half. I tried
Hmm.
Blog Talk Radio at the time. That was a disaster and a half because you could not get the RSS feed off Blog Talk Radio. And then with YouTube, you have to sit and watch it on your laptop or on your phone.
No.
Can't do anything else. And I literally had a fan tell me when I want to support you, but I am a clothing stylist and I can't have my laptop open and work with clients at the same time. And so I'm like, oh, great. There goes my YouTube stardom out the door. And so then I discovered, then at the time I was listening to a podcast called The Creative Pen by
Okay.
Joanna Penn, which is all about book writing and self publishing books. It still exists today. And so at the time, I was a podcast listener, I still am. But I didn't know that you could create your own podcast. So,
Hmm.
me being me, I was on Facebook. I was in my room, and I remember asking in a Facebook group, I said, "Excuse me, what's the best podcast host?" Didn't know anything of it. And they go, "Well, this is the best podcast host." I I took off. I launched the podcast. Funny enough, episode number 1 was with Joanna Penn. And it's like,
Really
yeah,
amazing.
funny enough, episode number
Mhm.
1 was with
Yeah.
Joanna Penn. And so I've been doing this podcast for 10 years.
Wow. Amazing.
And the to answer the second part of your question, the reason why I have a conversational podcast
Yeah.
with people is because I um I got stuck in the position of when I was marketing my book and when I was being interviewed on podcast, I got stuck in the position of, okay, these are the questions. You answer this,
Mhm.
you answer
Mhm.
that, you answer X, Y, and Z, and that's it. I'm like, no, that is not how I'm going to do it. I don't
Yeah.
want to I want my guest to feel comfortable, and I don't want to be so closed minded about it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's my story and I'm sticking to it.
That's amazing, Win. That's so good to know. You're doing such good work, and I'm really glad to know about your book. I would like to get a hands on it. So I would love to, understand what the book is all about, and I'm surely gonna check it out on Amazon. So yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you've been podcasting for 10 years. So do you also use some editing tools as well?
I have a professional editor because I can't
Uh-huh.
edit due to my disability.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
can't
Okay.
I can't edit. It's my excuse. Someone asked me that once, why don't you edit the podcast? I
Uh-huh.
It's not because I don't want to teach myself how to edit a podcast. It's because of my neurological disability that I can't edit a podcast. I can speak into a
Yeah.
microphone. I just can't edit a podcast due to my hamstrings and me moving stuff around and bits and pieces around. And I have played with Audacity and I'm like, forget this.
Yeah.
I'm going to hire out. And so, yeah.
Yeah, same here, same here. Yeah, great, great, great to know that. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Vin. These are my questions. Yeah.
And so, where can people find you? Where can people find your book? Yes, buy Bush's book with my book, people. Yes, you can probably find that on Amazon. And of course,
Yeah.
where can people find you and your podcast?
So my podcasts are on Spotify and with the name of Social Buzz Podcast. And I also follow a similar format as you. So I do tend to interview some people on a set of questions. There's a Google form to be filled out so that I know about that person, what questions are good. And apart from that, I write a lot of blogs. So you can read my blogs on digital marketing trends. If you might have noticed that during lockdown, Twitter and LinkedIn have made rapid strides. They've added a few features, they've tweaked a little bit, and things like that. So I like to talk about those trends that are happening and that are gonna change our ways of communication. So yeah, so that's what the podcast is all about, and that's what my blogs are all about. But yes, my book was about hospitality, homestays, bed and breakfast accommodations in India. So yeah, that is my past love, and digital marketing is my current love.
Well, great. The more power to you. And
Thank
I
you so
think
much.
that all these softwares have stepped up. I know that Zoom has stepped up.
Yeah.
And by the way, you guys, starting next week, starting in September, yikes, that's a little scary that we're now talking about September. I am going to quit using Uber Conference just because Uber Conference is not the best at capturing the interviews. Number one,
Mhm.
ate, they literally ate one of my interviews. I'm like, Uber Conference, you're great, but you're not so great. Where Zoom is kept up with the times, Zoom
Yeah.
actually did a total, and Ambush knows this, Zoom actually did a total flip
Hmm. Yeah.
during
Yeah.
COVID. Zoom literally did and if anyone knows the marketing people at Zoom, please send them my direction. Please send, no, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. Please send them my
Hmm.
direction because I want to ask them a couple of questions. I want to, of course, place them, number one, give them my high places for flipping, but I want to ask them a couple questions and it's all going good. It's nothing negative, but Uber conference and Skype are sitting there like, okay, now we have a little bit of a problem because Zoom is totally flipped. It's totally wonderful. So I'm going to use Zoom, and Ambush reminded me that Uber conference is great, but when it comes to high powered podcasting, it's not good.
Yeah, maybe. I've not tried Uber, and I don't even know anybody at Zoom as such. But yes, Zoom has a lot of competitors now. Google Meet is doing pretty well. Microsoft Teams
Yeah.
is doing pretty well. So yes, video conferencing, yeah, many things are coming up now.
Many things are coming up. Yeah, because it's the only way we can do it now. So,
Yeah, true.
yeah, it's the only way. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And yes, you can go find these books on Amazon. Mine is an audio. I Come a Win is an audio if you guys like that. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Thanks, you